what you made me do.
Taylor Swift just set a record for the most viewed video on YouTube in a 24-hour period.
Hey, happy day that Jake and I meet Taylor Swift. That's not really for certain yet. We're really gonna try our best to meet her. If we don't, it's still a-okay because I'm just ready to have fun and dance tonight. Look at my outfit.
Here we go.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, Taylor, I love you so much! Oh my gosh! Taylor, I love you!
Can you show me? Oh my god, I love you!
Taylor, I love you so much!
That is a lot of the stuff I went shopping and got yesterday for presents. And that's Meredith.
And I wanted to tell you how much you impressed me with your giving spirit.
I love reading your posts, especially seeing your escapades with Emma. Oh my God. You are so devastatingly adorable.
Like, I adore you and know everything will be okay. Give Keelan a hug for me.
I'll see you soon in person, but I'll see you on Tumblr like tonight though. Love, Taylor.
There's this wonderful girl named Steph who I've met before, but she has a tiny young son named Layton who she posts.
Well, welcome to the Taylor Swift Roundtable. Our goal here today is to come up with 13 things that we think we know about Taylor Swift. This is part of a larger project where we're analyzing the lyrics of the 99 songs appearing on her 6 albums. The initial glance at her lyrics showed that the word no was one of the most commonly used lyrics. Like is actually number 1. So what we're going to start off with is talking about what we actually know, like fact-based things that we know about Taylor Swift collectively. Her name is Taylor Allison Swift, right? She was born December 13th, 1989 in Tennessee. She was born in Pennsylvania, moved to Tennessee to pursue music. She's part of Big Machine Records. What other things do you guys know about Taylor Swift?
She's blonde.
Yes.
Right now.
She is.
She has a pretty big Rolodex. She can call anybody in the pop music world that she wants to collaborate, to bring on stage with her. There's probably not a whole lot of people who would say, no, I'm not going to duet with Taylor Swift.
She has a brother named Austin.
She does. Anything?
Her father was a stockbroker.
Wow, yes, he was. Her first album came out in 2006 when she was 16 years old. It was called Taylor Swift. Her second album was called Fearless, came out in 2008. It's the one that had Love Story and where she became more mainstream.
Speak Now.
Yes, that was the third one.
Red.
1989 next, and then the most recent one is Reputation. She's coming here August 14th to Raymond James Stadium. Fun fact, she had a hand in writing on every single one of her songs.
Speaking of that, I think it was Speak Now was the first album that she wrote entirely by herself.
I believe that's true.
Yes.
She's gone backwards since then, not necessarily musically, but she's brought in some other high-profile collaborators. She's worked extensively with Max Martin, who's one of the best pop songwriters of all time, including a lot on this album. But she still has a relatively small stable of songwriters on this album. She does a pretty good job of keeping the fort tight. She manages to keep a pretty small circle of collaborators on this album, even though it sounds really huge and big.
So we have a lot of professional facts and biographical facts. What else do we know about Taylor Swift pop culturally?
Taylor Swift has had beef with a lot of people. Kanye West, one of them. Katy Perry? Didn't she have like a lyric thing? Was that with her, or was that with
They've had beef, but apparently it's being squashed or has been squashed as we speak. I believe it was, maybe it was the beginning of the current Reputation tour that Katy Perry sent her a bouquet of flowers.
I think
Basically
it was
an olive branch. Yeah, olive branch.
Oh,
yeah.
A literal
tasteful.
olive branch.
Yeah, so they're working it out. We may see that duet on this tour. Who knows?
She's very well known for her relationship that she's developed with her fans over the years. And in my background in marketing, that's something that a lot of marketing books even reference at how she's taken social media and controlled that and worked with connecting with her fans and remaining connected from all phases of her career.
Yeah, I think around the time of 1989, the Christmas season was dubbed Swiftmas because she was giving surprise Christmas gifts to people.
She's done things like that on a lot of her tours. On 1989, and I think this tour as well, like her parents and her handlers will roam the crowd just looking for super hardcore Taylor Swift fans. They'll just hand them a pair of tickets to go backstage for these exclusive meet and greets, which seems like about as fair a way as any for anybody to do it. You know, she's only the biggest pop star on the planet. You know, you got to find some way to connect her with fans in a way that the other 10 billion fans out there won't completely lose their minds over.
What else do we know?
Well, she is, I think, the most scrutinized pop star in the world.
Why do you feel like she's been scrutinized so much?
Well, since the beginning, people, when she started out in country music, people thought she was upending country music traditions in a way that they weren't totally happy with. She became the biggest thing in country music by playing songs that were a little poppier, that got played on pop radio. She didn't necessarily kowtow to a traditional Nashville system. Nothing wrong with that. More power to her. She should have done that. But a lot of people in Nashville didn't necessarily like it. And then when she switched into pop, or crossed over into sort of a more pop mainstream, people didn't like the way that she constantly feigned surprise at winning awards or played the victim in a way like with the Kanye West confrontation at the VMAs. People just found reasons not to like her, and a lot of them weren't necessarily justified. I think people thought, well, here's a young blonde singer who's just one in a million young blonde singers. But she's not. She's extraordinarily smart and talented. But people didn't necessarily see that right away, or they wanted to look past it. They wanted to find a reason why she couldn't possibly be this perfect, tall, blonde, young singer.
Can we go down the line and talk about when you first heard of Taylor Swift, or your earliest knowledge of Taylor Swift, and how you feel about her now? Just go down the line.
My husband and I have been listening to Taylor Swift since country. We're not really country music fans, but we really enjoyed her music back then, and the storylines that she developed, as a young girl, telling stories from her perspective. And to your point, this new persona, while I think that she's masterly crafting it and she knows exactly what she's doing, I agree that it doesn't totally suit her. And it initially was a little bit off-putting to me, but again, her songs, like she knows how to write songs, and even though the first time I hear the song I might not like it, by 3 days later I'm humming it. So it's amazing what a talent she has, and I've enjoyed seeing her different perspectives over the years.
So I started listening to Taylor Swift my freshman year of college, which was 2006. So it was pretty soon after the first album came out. I hadn't heard of her at all, but then a friend of mine got me the album for Christmas, and I think I said, "Oh, was she on American Idol?" Like, I had no clue who she was at all, and then just became completely obsessed and fell in love with her music. It totally hit on, where I was at that point in my life, and kind of help me, put words to emotions and all that kind of stuff. And I clearly am still a super fan to this day. I've loved all of her albums. I think Reputation is fantastic.
It's hard to think of a time when I wasn't aware of Taylor Swift, just because it seems like she's been around for ages. When she started in country, I have to admit I wasn't a crazy fan. I like country music, but the music she was putting out didn't really speak to me in any special way. I liked some of the melodies and of some of the hits, but it didn't really grab me very much. And when she started finally dipping a little bit into pop, I thought it really worked. Red had some songs that I still think are absolutely brilliant. I love We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together. I think that's a genuinely brilliant song. But I will say that when the 1989 World Tour happened, that was a really thrilling time to be a Taylor Swift fan, or even just an observer, because every time she went on stage, she brought new people on stage with her, and it was almost like checking the score the night before of a team you like. Like, it was cool to watch every single night. What's she going to do? Who is she going to bring out? How is this going to unfold? And she was maybe the only pop star in the world who could make that happen day in and day out. And So once you see that show in motion, once you actually saw the 1989 World Tour happen, it was impossible not to have a whole new level of respect for her as an entertainer, if not totally an artist. Because all things being equal, I might take the Ryan Adams version of 1989 over Taylor Swift's.
So I first heard of Taylor Swift when her song Love Story came out. I saw the music video, and it wasn't really something that I would have thought that I would be listening to and enjoying, but the more that I heard it, the more that it kind of stuck in my head, and I was like, this is a good song. And then she got more poppy as her career progressed, and I found myself, again, not really wanting to enjoy them at first, but then they just kind of stick in your head. I've never actually sat down and listened to her albums straight through, but when they're on the radio, like, I won't change the song. And even though I'm just more of like a casual listener, I really respect her as a businesswoman. I respect her as an artist. I don't think that she deserves all of the hate that she gets. I think a lot of it stems from the fact that, you know, she dates a lot of celebrities and people will lash out on her and just find reason to hate on her because she's successful and she's pretty and she works really hard. But overall, I think that she is just an interesting person, and even if you don't like her music, you can respect her as this huge pop culture icon who's just done so much and impacted so many people.
Heard of Taylor Swift first, probably on the radio, but I never really looked into her. So probably I'd say the Kanye West thing was probably the biggest thing that I know of Taylor Swift, and then kind of faded out after that. Oh, when he interrupted her, I guess after the music video. I think that's what it was. The music video, the Grammys, right, for a music video award that Beyonce he thought should have won.
Oh, I'm sorry.
VMAs. Okay. Yeah. So that's literally. I don't really. I'm sure if I heard some songs, I would know, but I couldn't say honestly that I've listened to any, like, sat down actually typed in Taylor Swift and listened to her music. So unfortunately. Because it seems like it'd be interesting now that I know this is going on. I feel like it'd be interesting to know some Taylor Swift songs, you know, like and know some of her albums. So.
I probably heard some.
I've definitely heard some of her songs. I probably could sing some of them if I heard them, but they just don't come to the top of my mind. So I'll have to go look when I go home. I'll actually have to look it up and check it out.